So now that we've gotten that out of the way, we're going to go through the content sections of WordPress, and that is posts and pages and media and comments. So posts and pages are the main content that comes along with a WordPress website. So there's two main pieces of content in every WordPress website, and it's posts and pages. So the first thing we need to talk about is what's the difference. And the easiest example to use to explain that is what it's used for most, which is a WordPress blog. So on our website, we'll have, the standard pages, assuming that you're creating a business site, but this applies to everything. So you have your home page, which is the introductory page, and you have all your basic information. You might have an About Us page, a services page, and a contact page. And if you want to have a blog, you'll have a news page. So those are all pages. They're kind of static content. They're containers with content in them, and you won't be adding pages probably very often. You'll just go back and update information where it's needed. A post would be the blog entries, so the individual blog entries. So on your blog page, and we determine in the settings later which page is going to be responsible for our blog entries. On that page is going to contain all of your blog entries. And so that's kind of the idea between a page and a post. A page is kind of a container of content, where a post is, multiple things, multiple entries that are added, over time, usually sorted by date or some kind of thing. They have categories that they go in. They have tags applied to them. So they have meta information that's along with them. And they're usually contained on a page. So and this post technology, or this idea, we can extend that later on using something called custom post types. And custom post types use that same kind of functionality, but it can be used for any kind of content. So if you wanted to have a job board on your website, or you wanted to have a business directory or classified ads, or really anything that you can think of that has kind of a post that would be submitted or created over and over and over again, either by you or by your users, to be listed on a page in some kind of specific way, you can use that post system. And we'll talk about that later, but just kind of something to keep in the back of your head, that those are all different kinds of posts. So it's not just blog entries, but you can use that for all kinds of different content. But we'll get into that later. So right now, let's just jump in and look at the posts page. And this is going to list you all the posts or blog entries or what have you that we're using. The first one is always Hello World. That's one that's installed by default. So we'll just take a look at this table here. So Hello World is the blog entry title, the author name, the category that it's in, and there's a default category. If there are no categories, there's got a default category called uncategorized. And all posts go in there by default to start with, but we can change that later. Then we have any tags. This post doesn't have any tags associated with it. We have a comment, one comment here, which is a test comment, and the time it was published 40 minutes ago, which is when I set up this website for the first time. If you hover over the title, you'll see 4 links here. So edit, that brings up the main edit screen so we can edit our post. Quick edit, which brings up the meta information for the post, which is our title, which is our slug, and slug is a term that means the part of the URL at the end. So if you have, mydomain.com/blog/title of the entry, that title in the URL. So for this, it's hello-world, because we can't have spaces in our URLs, and that's called a slug, or a computer readable name of our title. So whenever you enter in a title to create a post, the system will automatically create a slug, but you may want, for SEO purposes and stuff like that, we'll talk about it later, want to change it or manually change those slugs. So we'll talk about that as well. It has the date that it was published, and the category it's in, the tags, whether or not you want to allow comments on the post, pings, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but it's kind of how the way the websites communicate with each other, and trackbacks and things like that. And the status, published, pending review, and draft, and make this post sticky. And these things we'll go over as we go through it. But pretty simple information. If you want to change any of this stuff, or post date, a blog entry, something like that, you click update or just cancel to get out of it. Trash is to delete the post, and view is to open the post on the front end. So here's my post on the front end, my test comment. This is my blog entry. So for now, we're going to delete this Hello World just like you can, because we don't need it. It's just there to kind of give you an idea of the post process and what's involved in it. So we trash it. Once you trash a blog entry, you're going to see this trash. So all, that shows all, and trash shows all of your deleted posts. So even after you delete something, it's not completely gone. You can always get it back. And if you go in here and you click restore, it brings it back, or you can delete it permanently. And like most things in WordPress, you can select all of them by hitting this box up here, or select them individually. And I'm just going to get rid of that permanently. Now we go back to our all post screen and there's nothing there. So let's create a new post.